Pterosaurs were a group of flying archosaur reptiles that evolved during the late Triassic period. During the early Jurassic period, they radiated into several different forms. Our knowledge of these early pterosaurs comes from remains which have been discovered in England and Germany. During this period in Earth's history, Europe was covered in a shallow shelf sea. The fine mud on its seabed formed deposits of heavy shale. These early pterosaurs all had tails and belonged to the rhamphorhynchoid group. In this video we will look at three types of early Jurassic pterosaurs: Dimorphodon, Dorygnathus and Campylognathoides. Dimorphodon, meaning two types of teeth, was a pterosaur that had a 1-4 meter wingspan. It derives its scientific name from its two distinct types of teeth, which consisted of 30 to 40 pointed teeth. It had 4 large teeth in the front of the mouth. The teeth were set in a deep, narrow skull, which were made of flimsy struts of bone surrounding large cavities, which maintained a low body weight. Dimorphodon also had very long and robust legs, as well as strong claws on both the feet and hands. It is likely this was an adaptation for clinging to cliffs or rocks. Dimorphodon had a very large and deep head measuring 20 centimeters, a quarter of the overall body length, that resembled a modern-day puffin. It may have been brightly colored in life. The purpose was likely to attract mates, which is like modern-day bird species which have deep beaks, such as hornbills or toucans. Dimorphodon is thought to have been a fish eater. Scientists have long debated how pterosaurs walked while on the ground. Studies of the hips and legs of Dimorphodon have led to suggestions that it had an erect, bird-like posture, with the legs set directly under the body, allowing it to run quickly on the toes. The first fossil remains of Dimorphodon were discovered in Lyme Regis in southern England by the famous fossil collector Mary Anning in 1828. A handful of other fossils have since been discovered on the Dorset coast, as well as another possible specimen from Gloucestershire. Dorygnathus, meaning spear jaw, was another early pterosaur that lived in Germany during the early Jurassic. Like Dimorphodon, it was a small fish-eater that had a 1 meter wingspan. Dorygnathus had relatively short wings for a rhamphorhynchoid pterosaur. Its feet had a long, narrow fifth toe, which may have supported a web of skin which was used for maneuvering and probably compensated for its short wings. Dorygnathus also had very long front teeth that intermeshed when the jaw was closed like a fish trap. It also had a long and stiff tail, which was characteristic of all rhamphorhynchoid pterosaurs. Fossil remains of Dorygnathus were discovered in Holzmaden, Germany in the early 1800s. The remains were originally thought to belong to another famous pterosaur called Pterodactylus, although that was before scientists had recognized two distinct groups of early pterosaurs, the longer-tailed rhamphorhynchids and the shorter-tailed pterodactyloids. Campylognathoides, meaning like the curved jaw, was another early Jurassic pterosaur that lived in Germany. It had a slightly larger wingspan than the other two genera, measuring 1.7 meters. Like other rhamphorhynchids, it was a fish-eater. It had a large head and a pointed snout. The eye sockets were also large, which indicates it had good eyesight. It is also possible it may have been nocturnal. Hip bones belonging to this pterosaur show that it held its legs sideways and upwards, which indicate it would not have been able to walk on the back legs while on the ground. Campylognathoides is known from several and varyingly complete skeletons which have been discovered in shale deposits in Holzmaden, Germany.